Hi guys, another one, a new week, another bike test, and this week I can introduce you to a very interesting bike again, which is a typical city shopping bicycle. Stay with me. The video will be the usual again, so we start with the after unboxing, we'll go over the specifications and finally talk about what it's like to ride this bike and what advantages and disadvantages I found with it. Unpacking took a bit longer in this case than usual, and that's good. It's really great because we get a lot of accessories with this bicycle, and the unboxing and assembly is basically just for that. It took a long time. What am I talking about? Well, if you look at the bike itself, it's completely conventional. We first encountered this Chinese bike design about 4 years ago. The battery is inside the frame, of course. It can be opened and folded down to a very small size. It can be folded down, so this is absolutely normal so far. However, we are also accustomed to the fact that with Chinese bicycles, the equipment is not too good. This Engwe P1 absolutely stands out in this regard, since we get so many things with it that it almost didn't fit in the box. We got mic, we're getting it, we need to get a very nice little rear trunk, which has quite good load capacity. We get a zippered bag for the rear trunk, which is naturally waterproof too. You can even put this back on the frame here, and I put it on the luggage rack. It just fits better here for me. We get a rear light with it, which is very interesting because with Chinese bikes, they often don't even provide a rear light, let alone a reflector. But this rear light is not just an ordinary rear light, it's connected to the electrical system, and it also works as a brake light. So if you press the brake lever, any of them, the rear light will act as a brake light. Of course, we also have a front light, but it's not too special. The metal fenders at the front and back are of very good quality. They will last a long time. It seems durable. I think this is for a lifetime and then some. Besides, we also have a phone holder. We received a very nice one labeled Engwe. With metal inserts, it is good and strong. There is some small rubber insert to reduce vibration. So this is a particularly good piece, so much so that I'll check if it's available. But I might buy one for myself for my own bike. But what's even more interesting than this is this bag that you see in front of you is a shopping bag that can be detached from the bicycle. You simply grab it, lift it up, and it can be taken down. It has 2 handles. You can go into the store with it, do your shopping, and when you're done shopping, come back and load it onto the bike, and you can ride it home. So there are really plenty of accessories. The seat is very nice, comfortable, soft, and the handlebar height is adjustable. So externally, I think that basically it has everything you need for a great... It's a shopping bike that we'll use in the city, so that's pretty much the assembly. I think that's about it. In 35, 40, maybe 45 minutes, you can be completely ready with it, assemble it, and it's ready to ride. In this state, this P1. Okay, so we are done with the packaging and assembly. Now let's move on to the specifications. Here, we will encounter some interesting gears. We are going to encounter a really interesting thing, because all the others are on this bike. Yes, it's completely normal, as I said. So, as I mentioned, the lights, we have front and rear lights. At the back we have a tail light, we switch it, it's the plain lower one, easy to brake, 7-speed. At the first chain ring, we find only one size, so there are 7 gears at the back, but this is perfectly suitable for a smaller city bike. We have 2 disc brakes, front and rear. These are mechanical disc brakes, as usual. We also have a shock absorber, naturally, only in the front. There is no damping at the back, and there is nothing in the seat tube either. As simple as possible, though not the worst I've seen so far. You can't adjust it. You can't adjust the tension, the effort, and you can't lock it either. So it's a simple spring style. Actually, with a bit of lubrication. The handlebar height is adjustable, and of course the seat height is adjustable as well. The motor is a rear wheel hub motor, 250 watts. The battery is hidden in the frame, right here in the middle, 13 amp hours. This is not a very popular thing. It has a large battery capacity, but since the motor is weak, there's something else I'll talk about later. According to the factory data, this battery can make this bicycle capable of traveling up to 100 kilometers. Of course, it's electric, so it's in assisted mode. It is very important that the bike in its current state, fully compliant, meets all regulations, the assist switch over 25 kilometers per hour. The motor is only 250 watts and there is no throttle either. There are reflectors, cat's eyes on the wheel, so if you buy this bike, then with this you can start. The police won't find you. You use the bike lane. Helmet is not mandatory, but I say still wear it. Basically, always wear a helmet. Safety is important either way. We also have a throttle for the bike. It's somewhere. There is a connector in the wiring harness here to which you can connect. If you connect the throttle, then it becomes a moped right away. On paper, naturally, this is a bicycle, since it is capable of moving with the throttle without pedal power. Go with it. You'll have electric drive. The drive will still cut off at 25 km per hour, but this can also be unlocked with the community. The computer has a hidden menu. If you unlock it, the top speed of the bike will be about 35 km per hour. What I haven't talked about yet, its weight stays under 30 kilograms, sturdy. The wheels are thin, with 2.5-inch thick tires, with a city tread pattern. The bike was clearly made for city use. I think we covered the specifications too. I have said everything that can be known about this bicycle according to the specifications. So let's get to the more interesting part, which is what it was like to use it. Well, it was really surprising because this bicycle has a property that I haven't talked about yet. I haven't talked about it on purpose. This is a feature I didn't even notice until it arrived. And I haven't reviewed the specifications in detail yet to see what hardware is included and what they can do. Actually, this is a bicycle. And then it occurred to me that as simple as it may seem, even with a 4-year-old design, it has a feature that is considered completely new, at least for these cheap Chinese bicycles. And this is because it's not a pedal sensor, but a torque sensor. I also mentioned in my previous bicycle test that I somewhat predicted this at the end of last year, that this year for Chinese bicycles it will be the year of the torque sensor, and it really seems like that's how it will be, because this is the second cheap bike I've received this year, and it has a torque sensor. Regarding the torque sensor, I assume you know, but if not, it's simple. I'll also mention now that it works completely differently from the pedal sensor, as the pedal sensor basically there is a sensor here at the pedal. It detects if you started pedaling. And if you start it, it changes to maximum pressure. With the chromatic, it turns on the rear. What's adjustable in this case is at how many kilometers per hour they get the spot. Turn off the assistance. So pedal sensor bikes use two kinds of sensors, a speed sensor, which is responsible for turning off the engine at the set maximum speed, and also the pedal sensor activates or deactivates the motor depending on whether you are pedaling or not. You can't adjust the motor, but in what kind of performance do we operate with? So pedal sensor bikes can be a bit capable, a bit less usable, a bit less user-friendly than a torque sensor bike. And well, it consumes more. The torque sensor is very interesting because the torque sensor also activates when you start pedaling, it doesn't give maximum torque, but rather depends on your relatively low torque, on what gear you set. You can set 5 gears on this bike as well. And the fact that 5 gears make it, if I remember correctly, then it regulates between 20 and 99% of how much of the total torque to give to all people, the motor. Additionally, its torque is regulated, so you can keep going. You put effort into pedaling, so the harder you pedal, the more assistance you get. This is a feature. More economical, much more user-friendly, allows for a more enjoyable experience with torque sensor bikes. So this bike has a torque sensor, which is a very, very good thing. But there is, this bike has a feature that I really don't understand. And that is that they not only put a torque sensor in it, but also visibly here at the pedal, there. There is also the usual pedal sensor, which I don't know why it was included, why it had to be included, but it is. And what's also very important and interesting and absolutely necessary for torque sensor bicycles, it's unusual that when you change the gear, not only the assistant strength changes, but also this, when to turn off the motor. So this bike also has a speed sensor, It has a torque sensor, a pedal sensor, and a speed sensor. The old hardware, the old sensors are also included, as well as the new torque sensor. Honestly, I don't see much point in this. Not that it greatly affects the bicycle's performance. My only guess is that maybe if we add the throttle, then not as a torque sensor, but just a regular, it will work as a pedal sensor, plus we will have a throttle to speed up. In any case, this is a very, very strange operation. As a result, this and the other thing I can nitpick about this is that the manufacturer specified a 100 kilometer range. You can go with this bike, but you'll likely only manage this 100 kilometers on the first gear because it's 100 kilometers. However, the 250 watt motor in the first gear with a hand and 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 a hand, where according to the manufacturer's data, the motor adds 20% of the pedaling power. It's simply not enough. Even if I pedal on a completely flat road, I don't feel that I have any assistance, or very, very minimal assistance. So I can confidently say that the first level, in this case, it's basically useless, so it's completely unnecessary. But from the second gear onwards, you get that power, which is needed to make pedaling noticeably easier. And even though the motor is only 250 watts, if I switch to level 5, then on the biggest hill around here, which I also use for tests, I was able to ride up so that I don't have to get up from the saddle. So there are good things and there are bad things here. Overall, I would say that if we forget the first level, then the second, third, fourth, and fifth levels will absolutely not be. Can use it absolutely well. So in that sense, the bike is good. The many sensor functions are a bit strange. I don't know where to put it, but actually the does not take away from its value at all. What I can appreciate is that the seat tube is extremely short. The manufacturer says that this bike can be used up to a height of 190 meters. I am 184 centimeters. This is, height is what? It's roughly good. Maybe we could raise it a bit, but if the seat is at this height, as you can see now, it's almost stretched. When the pedal reaches the lowest point. But if you look at how it's pushed into the tube now, then you can see that in total, that's all there is in the vase. And it is very, very small. We need a lot more than this somewhere. Here is the minimum. So normally, this is roughly how much the seat could be raised so that it is safe, like this, but it's still incredibly low. 184 centimeters is low too. So for me to use it normally, somewhere, it needs to be here, the seat height. This is not good, because it means that at 190 centimeters, you won't be able to use this bike comfortably. In fact, even at such 184, 84 centimeters, I wouldn't necessarily say it will look nice. So it would be worth getting another seat post for this, which is longer than the factory one. Fortunately, this is not a very big expense, so I think we might be able to afford it. By the way, you can also find out the price, how much they ask for it. Some people ask how it was to ride this bike. Then I can say that I definitely don't recommend it for hiking. This is not a mountain bike, this is a city bike. It's designed for that. That Uncle Steve or Aunt Mary or anyone can sit on it and go to the shop, take off the basket, go in, pack it full, come back, snap it in place and pedal home nicely. It won't be a problem even if there are moderate slopes, since the assistance and torque sensor help Uncle Pista and Aunt Mary, and it will be relatively easy to get up to speed, to go up hills, even with a loaded bike. If, God forbid, this basket isn't enough, no problem, because you can buy from China relatively cheaply. That can be placed on the rear rack, storage units. The rear trunk will withstand a lot. So basically, this bicycle can be enough for a big shopping trip. In most video tests, they don't highlight that this bicycle can indeed go 35 km each. I think this is an absolutely irrelevant piece of data for this bike because it's not going to be used for this. We will not be speeding, and neither Uncle Pista nor Aunt Mary will be speeding with it. He's not a doctor. Absolutely good for everything, as you can go 25 kilometers in an hour. This is almost typical in Budapest, as I always say. Takes you across the city. And likely, if you go shopping, you don't want to go, say, from Budafok to Óbuda in Pest, but just go 5, 6, 10 kilometers maybe, and you will shop there. Similarly, if you go to work, it will be roughly the same. You will travel a maximum of 10, 15 kilometers here. Not much more, right? And for such a distance, this bike is absolutely perfect. The seat is comfortable, but again, just for city use. So I don't think I will be on this seat for long. I would like to sit for long, long hours, even though by Chinese standards, this is a comfortable seat. Okay, so who do I recommend the bike to? For everyone who needs it. It's not a fun bike, but obviously you can go on shorter trips with it. But it's not meant to be a really useful collection. A solution that allows you to go shopping and bring home the things you bought. The basic equipment is incredibly plentiful, and the accessories are of very high quality. We get it. There's no problem with that. What is also very, very important is that the price is very good, because it is currently the introductory offer. And in the introductory offer, the first, if I remember correctly, 500 customers get and it also includes a gift package. There's also a safety vest, and I don't know what else. There are some other things. Engwe sells this gift package separately for 40,000 forints, by the way. There is a coupon, now a birthday promotion. That's good. You can also reduce the price with that. And if you buy with PayPal, then too, if you tell well. I think a further $10 reduction is possible. And if I remember correctly, if I calculated well, and from the price of the bicycle yet, then we also deduct a 40,000 forint gift package, then the bike itself. You can buy it for 210,000 forints with the gift package for like 210,000 forints, 52.60, depending on the current forint-dollar exchange rate. I think 210,000 forints, but even 250,000 forints for a torque sensor, compact, lightweight, for a very beautiful, very well usable, very good accessory-equipped bike, right? A lot of money. If you don't mind that the design is actually 4 years old, then I think you can safely buy it. I really like the painting, the welding, and other things. Absolutely fine. It could be, there was a problem even at 4 years old, and there still is now. If you're not looking for a designer bike, not looking for a touring bike, but a useful help in the city for your everyday life, then it's NGVP. I think it's your choice. That's about it. I've explained unboxing, assembly, specifications, and my experiences. And if you're curious for more, as usual, you'll find the video on YouTube. Read the link to my written article under the video, but the researcher will be there too. Plus the link to where you can purchase it at the price I mentioned. That's about it for this week. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I'll be waiting for you next week with another test. Until then, be good and goodbye.